So nearly 3 days later, Jake Tapper admits CNN fact check on Medicare for All was not factual. Having now acknowledged the need for 2 corrections, he should consider whether he and other people working on this understand the issue of Medicare for All well enough to appoint themselves as fact checkers. After nearly 3 days of constant pressure, clear explanations on basic facts, and a bit of healthy shaming, CNN's Jake Tapper on Sunday finally relented to the sheer force of evidence and admitted that his Medicare for All fact check, which aimed to discredit Senator Bernie Sanders, claimed that a Koch brothers funded study showed single payer would save Americans $2 trillion, was horribly misleading. The central falsehood of Jake Tapper's video segment, which he has now promised to correct, was his conflation of the American people and the U.S. government. Okay, so what exactly did he say here? Apparently confused by the difference, Tapper declared in his segment, "Is that true? Did a study funded by the Koch brothers indicate Medicare for All would actually save the U.S. government trillions of dollars?" No, numerous commentators proceeded to point out the error. Jake, you cannot claim that Bernie said the government would save $2 trillion. He did not say that. He said Americans would save $2 trillion. So this was intentional by Jake Tapper. Just like it was intentional that when Fox News released that poll and they said, hey, is it worth the cost? Medicare for All would cost this much. I think the number they threw out was $32 trillion. Is it worth it? 73% of respondents still said yes. What Fox News didn't bother pointing out was that it would save money, that it's less than we're spending now. It saves over $2 trillion. Because we're spending more than that now. We're spending about $34 trillion now. And that's a conservative estimate. It was deliberate that Fox News left that out. Just like it was deliberate that Jake Tapper was nitpicky on verbiage. Oh, he said it would save the government too. Just technically, that's not true because the government would actually have to spend more because in a Medicare for All system, the government would be doing the bookkeeping, the government would be doing the orchestrating, so they would have to hire more people. Those jobs would go out of the private industry and into the government. So technically, it wouldn't save the government that money. Who does it save that money? It saves us that money because we're already spending more. So yes, it saves everybody that money. But technically, if you want to be like, well, does it save the actual government who would have to orchestrate more of the money? That's intentional. This wasn't an error on Jake Tapper's part. This was intentional propaganda. This was an intentional lie. This was an intentional deception. How can you think otherwise? You really think he's like, well, technically, I think people are confused and they think the government's saving that. No, first of all, that's not even... He misquoted Bernie Sanders, so right out the gate, misleading. And second of all, they construe the data to serve their agenda. In this case, how can we make Medicare for All look bad? Well, technically, it doesn't save the government that money. Copy and print. Put it on the air. It doesn't matter that it saves us trillions of dollars. It doesn't matter that it saves we the people trillions of dollars. Let's find a way to spin it so that people think it's doing something it's not. And technically, the government would be doing the bookkeeping, so the government would spend more, so it doesn't save the government trillions, even though it still saves everybody money. We're just gonna nitpick the accounting verbiage to make it look bad. This isn't an error on Jake Tapper's part. This is lying. This is deception. This is propaganda. This is why CNN is not a news organization. It is a PR organization. MSNBC is not a news organization. It is a PR organization for Comcast. Fox News is not a news organization. It's Rupert Murdoch's right-wing wet dream. These are not news and information outlets. That's definitionally not what they are. And this is our news structure in the United States. We celebrate this structure. We celebrate that we've given corporate power control of our news and information. So why do you expect anything less than this? This is another example of corporate media propaganda and blatant deception. And if we exposed every single, for instance, of corporate media propaganda and deception, this show would have to be about 6 hours long a day. And honestly, that's way too much. I don't want to listen to me for that long, so I'm sure you don't either. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat before we move on to other articles, but that was a great share. The mainstream media is useless, absolutely. I like to call them the corporate media. Jake Tapper was directed to undermine any support for a proposal that would take any profit from the oligarchs. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's delusional to think that this was just an error. I mean, anybody that believes that, oh, it's just an error, like, in some ways I envy your naivety. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your news on with Ron.